Hello, people of the world watching automobile-related videos on the internet. Welcome to this, my one-owner 74 RA21 Toyota Celica with a 2UZ V8 I stuffed in from my dad's wrecked Toyota Tundra. If you're new and you like to get caught up on why chalk should not be used as a condiment above my head is a link to the last video where I worked on this. I'm not exactly picking up where I left off in the last video because I have some work that's potentially going to be waiting on parts, so I need to get it done now. In case you're not up to speed, the engine that's in the car right now is just a junkyard engine I used for mock-up while the other one was getting built at the machine shop. The benefit about this junkyard engine is it's from Arizona, so it's corrosion-free. This guy right here, for those of you that know your Toyota engines, is stuck. Is a 3UZ intake. Sweet! This thing's got a genuine Toyota Denso starter in it. Before, after. I put this thing in my homemade vapor blast cabinet. Problem is, it gets dirty super easy now, and I didn't have the right type of bead to give it the right finish. And also, the inside of these things are disgusting, and I don't know if there's any glass media that's behind the baffle, and to remove that required drilling all of these and then tapping them and bolting this thing back on. Oh man, this hurts, but it's peace of mind. As easy it would be to just fill a shopping cart full of new old stock Toyota parts, I'm rapidly going to go broke fast since I don't have commercials in the middle of my videos about ball hair trimmers to make a quick buck. So I gotta try to restore some of these parts, starting with the 3UZ intake manifold, which I paid a couple $100s for used on Facebook Marketplace, so much for saving money there. Well, that must be the solenoid for the variable intake runner. You can see it's full of goo. Much like the Generation 2 3S GTE and my MR2 Turbo, this has a modern form of what Toyota called TVIS. The TVIS system was essentially just a butterfly valve at the base of the intake manifold. Okay, throttle body. Yeah, there's little butterfly valves in the center there. See, right here, the little butterfly assembly, the flappers. The plastic intake manifold on the VVTi 2UZs, like what was in my dad's truck, also had this system. But this intake manifold is physically shorter, so it clears the hood. That's why I'm using it. So the way this works is when those butterflies are closed, the air will come in through your intake, and then it will have to go all the way up around before it goes down into the intake port by the intake valves of the engine. Versus if those valves are open, it allows the air to just get sucked straight up and then down into the engine. Don't act like you're not impressed by my high-tech mop bucket parts washer. It does a fantastic job of something. I don't really know how this is helping whatsoever. In fact, it's not. I'm gonna give about 50 suggestions in the comments below of what tool I should use to do this, but the great thing is I don't have any of those with me right now. You can see it right there in that port. I've scrubbed about 10 times already. I got this guy, but that's also way too big. The only thing I can really do is just take this down inside there. While I do own a dry ice blasting machine, I do not own a cryogenics plant, and dry ice has to be purchased by several hundred pounds at a time, which I'm not going to do for this. I have a problem with just pissing time away trying to do stuff because I don't have the correct tools to do the job. Are those 14s? Oh, they are. I got the perfect thing for these. I bought this guy the other day. Behold, my new heavy-duty ultrasonic cleaner. Don't worry about who makes it. They didn't pay for it. This thing is really making me want french fries for some reason. I'm legit curious. This thing gets hot. What would happen if I put oil and french fries in here? Would it cook them or just make french fry music? This thing was absolutely destroyed on my dad's engine. It's mint on this one. It makes sense because ultrasonic sound waves, it made my ears hurt in a weird way. It's not loud, but like all of a sudden, it was like something from X-Men. Never mind. Woo! Hardware. Yeah, that hardware looks brand new. Look at those. Literally look brand new. Jeez. It is time. Now that these are clean, I can use them. I have been itching for the past week and a half to put this thing up off the pallet and finally onto an engine stand so I can start assembling it. I can't. No! I have no way of picking this thing up. This thing is literally only good for bicycles. I have to go steal theirs. Barely. It's not ideal, but it'll have to work. I'm really embarrassed to admit this, but the only reason why I haven't sold my engine hoist and bought one like they have next door is because theirs does not match the color theme of my shop equipment. Everything has to be yellow, black, or gray. That's pretty long, but I think it'll be okay. With the exception of the Vapor Blast cabinet. That doesn't count because that's supposed to be temporary. I really don't like using these things because it just... Am I the only one that thinks that these type of engine stands are sketchy? I never like using them. I just feel like they're gonna fail. Is it good? Is it on there? I think it's on there. It didn't fall off the stand overnight. That's a good sign. Let's give this thing a shot and see if it's actually useful for something. I know what this might look like, but it's not. I'm not taking the engine out. Oh, you piece of shit. Can you tell my level of distaste for this engine hoist? I feel bad. It's not its fault it's too small. Got it. To get the oil pan off of this thing, I have to raise the engine off the engine mounts. But to do that, I have to take the steering rack out from underneath to be able to clear it through. And to be able to do that, I need to lift the car in the air while lifting the engine in the air at the same time. Oh, I'd love to be able to sit up under here. This thing's so f***ing sandwiched in there. Woo, okay, that's out. If you are an OSHA inspector, please look away. What? Why? I only need the engine to come up a hair to get the hardware for the steering rack out. There you go, that's probably it. Please just come out of there. Oh, it's gonna be really hard to get this oil pan out though. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. Got it. I get the steering rack back in here now. I'm gonna have to get this thing repowder coated. This thing's destroyed. And this is the reason why I'm leaving the front subframe raw metal until it's time for final assembly. Along with the engine bay, underside of the hood, and the radiator core support. And I figured that was a given obvious though. Free as it is, fun it was not. It's out though. That's neat. Oh, that's so nice. In case you wanted to get a look at the bottom side before I put the oil pan on, forged rods, forged pistons, and from the factory the crank is forged. Everything is forged now in this bottom end. This disgusting bag is all the hardware for the block skirt and the oil pickup. I don't have high hopes for this stuff coming clean, but we'll see. This might seem kind of ridiculous putting this thing on here just temporarily, but I want to order a brand new splash shield and pickup tube for this engine. To make the 2UZ fit with the RA21 and the AE86 front suspension, I had to use an oil pan out of a LS400 Lexus, which has a front sump 1UZ. And when I bought the block skirt, it didn't come with the splash shield that's on the inside, and it's different on a 2UZ because the oil pan is an L shape. These are weird bolts. Super weird bolts. Look at these things. What a weird looking bolt. Come out of your hole. Starter. This smells terrible. Wow. That is so crazy. These ones all came out like brand new. These ones, not so much. Yeah, this is gonna look brand new. If you're watching this right now under the impression that I was just gonna stab this new engine in there and start it all in one day, that's not real life. That's not how things really work. Something tells me this starter is probably fine, especially because it's a genuine Toyota Denso one, but I think I'm gonna drop it off at the rebuild shop and have this and the alternator rebuilt for it. I'll stick it in its home for now. All right, good, it does clear. Definitely gonna need a different fuel rail though. Hell yeah, it clears. Oh, but the only thing is, the neck back here. The ultrasonic cleaner discolored it. It's not pure aluminum. But I guess it will fit, just barely. Welcome to day number 3. Water neck. Oh, there is more hardware for the oil pan. Good. So here's the biggest dilemma I face. 2UZ throttle body, 3UZ throttle body. Both same diameter, both of them are drive-by-wire. No matter how good technology gets with drive-by-wire, it does not replicate the feel you get with a true cable throttle. Problem I run into is even though the early 1UZs did have a cable throttle, I don't know if it'll actually work with the TVIS or ASIS, and also it likely is not going to bolt up to that 3UZ plenum. Do you guys have ever noticed in my car reviews where I point out suspension components underneath vehicles that have these weird stamps on them that say stuff like ASIS and Common? That's actually the formula of what it's actually made out of. And this intake manifold, while I do believe it is all aluminium, it may have some other materials in it that if I use a harsh chemical to clean it, it'll discolor and make it look hideous. Wow! That hardware turned out amazing. So I bought these guys. Water bottle cleaners. This actually works pretty good, I'm surprised. It's not as bristly as I would like it to be. I had a feeling those might not work, so I also bought these ones. Not as flexible, but definitely more heavy duty. Oh, that's perfect. Literally perfect. I just need a degreaser that is strong enough. The inside of those intake runners is permanently stained from a carbon residue mixed with oil sludge, and nothing will take it out, so I'm gonna use straight up muriatic acid. Muriatic acid. This stuff has a skull and crossbones on the label for a reason. It will absolutely burn you if you get it on you, in you, near you, including its vapors. That's why I'm wearing a supplied air system. I didn't need to leave that stuff on there for very long, but just to finish things up, I'm gonna use a little bit of aluminum brightener, and that will give the finish a nice even tone. And then I'm gonna neutralize everything with some baking soda and water. That was an hour and a half of my life that I'll never get back, but it was worth, yeah. That's about as good as I'm gonna get those chambers. There's literally nothing on there that you can get with your finger. If muriatic acid and a wire brush won't take it off, it's good enough. I don't know what heat does to yellow zinc over time, but it left a really cool rainbow effect on some of the butterflies. Now you understand why I was willing to spend $600 on new valve covers. Because honestly, it's cheaper to just buy new stuff than to spend all this time doing this. Oh, I bet you it was always that rainbow finish. It's the same as the little vacuum diaphragm. I'm gonna replace this gasket, just in case you're wondering. For obvious reasons, I'm gonna put some Loctite on this hardware because I don't want bolts bouncing around inside my engine. In case you're wondering why I ditched the lightweight plastic manifold from the 2UZ VVTi to this 3UZ aluminum one, is obviously because of hood clearance. This one is shorter than the plastic manifold, but more importantly, this looks more period correct in a 1974 car being made out of metal versus plastic. I'm not using a torque wrench just because I don't want to risk over tightening these, and I'm using Loctite anyway. Yep, that works. I tried as much as I could to order all the parts I'm going to need for this while the engine are at the machine shop, and I have a bunch of NOS Toyota parts over there for it, but this is the remaining stuff that I need to order now that I've done this. The two big unknowns is the 1UZ cable throttle body. I'm obviously going to need an adapter, and 3UZ fuel rails. I don't think it's just as simple as that. I might have to use a custom fuel rail. Looks like I'm baking this thing in an oven. It may have seemed like hours wasted, but the end result, that's pretty close to looking brand new again. Tinfoil aside, that's gonna be a pretty good looking engine once I get it all buttoned up. Next process is my favorite, wiring. And I have two OEM 05 Tundra wiring harnesses. And between the two of them, I should be able to successfully build my own harness from scratch. These coil packs, yep, they're Denzos, cool. Ouch, all these come out hard. One of these things is inferior garbage. This harness is from the Junkyard Engine, and these three are Toyota Denso coil packs. This one is a poop coil pack that will not get used. No chance in hell I'm putting that garbage on there. The genuine Toyota Denso ones, if these are good, I'll use them. This harness is a gold mine though, because all of the plugs are in mint condition and the wires aren't brittle and dry and heat cracked. I already know for a fact my dad's engine harness had all genuine Denso Toyota stuff because he doesn't put crap on his vehicles. Unraveling the wires for the passenger side bank of cylinders just took 23 minutes. 23 minutes to do that, and I still have 2 other branches. That's an hour of unwrapping wires, and that's just unwrapping them. The Tundra's wiring harness enters the firewall over here on the passenger side at this little juncture, but on this guy over here, it enters on the driver's side, so the main wiring harness is going down right here. I'm gonna be able to delete a couple circuits off of this as well that will no longer be used for this application, but what's more important is that I route the wiring correctly through the engine bay so it looks factory on the Celica instead of on a Tundra. Until I get the headers fabricated for this thing, I'm gonna leave the junkyard engine block in here because there's gonna inevitably be some tack welds that have to happen down in this engine bay, and I don't want that splattered all over my nice new engine. As soon as that is done, the front subframe, the transmission cross member, which I gotta finish a couple tack welds on that, are coming out. I'm gonna send those to get either powder coated or actually I might just do it in the black epoxy that I have on the rear axle. This stuff is literally designed for this application and I want it all to match, so I think that's probably the best way. So yeah, thank you guys for watching and I'll see you soon with another video. Bye!